All right, peace and blessings, everybody. Back with yet another one. You know what I mean? Back like I never left. All right, so we're up to the 17th law of power right about now. So 17 out of 48. All right, so as listed by Robert Greene in his book of the same name, 48 Laws of Power. So this one is entitled "Keep Others." All right, keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate. Hey, cultivate. An air of unpredictability. Okay, so I think we've kind of addressed some of this on a previous video, but we're gonna keep it rolling. Um, from information out of the experiential, we'll be dealing with the idea that the ego fears uncertainty. So we'll be contrasting that with the keep others suspended in terror, cultivate an air of unpredictability. So with this, when you're dealing with the 48 laws of power, and I said that the theme of this is manipulation, exploitation, that type of thing, or avoiding manipulation, exploitation, but it's in the realm of that. Um, with TM, it's not really centered on exploitation and manipulating people or whatever. But if you're a manipulative person, you can read a coloring book. You can look at a coloring book and you're gonna find some way to manipulate somebody. So it really don't matter. So excuse me. So let's kind of get right into this. Uh, this law goes into the idea that people love predictability, stability, and routine, right? We learn by repetition. You know what I'm saying? That's how we learn things. That's how our body works. That's how our mind works. That's how our brain works. Everything like that. Whatever. However, when the unpredictable is injected in the mix, it causes instant panic, or it has a tendency to cause instant panic. You see what I'm saying? Um, okay, so in the experiential, there's a teaching about certainty and uncertainty, right? In quantum physics, certainty would be things that can be quantified or counted, such as atoms, right? Okay, uncertainty would be the energy in between the particles that is yet untapped or whatever. Okay, in our human awareness, this manifests as things we know and things that we don't know. Uncertainty is simple as that. Not knowing something, certainty is something that you know. It's just like a high sound. Okay, things that we are certain about versus things that we are up for speculation. The ego fears uncertainty because uncertainty, which is the true God, right? Uncertainty, which is the true God, because uncertainty is possibility, right? God is almighty, right? Almighty means all possibility, right? You see what I'm saying? So let's see here. Ego fears uncertainty because uncertainty, which is the true God, challenges the de facto God's supremacy. The de facto God will be the ego, the cat that you be having them conversations in the mirror with. You see what I'm saying? The de facto God, when ain't nobody else here, that's just that's the the cat that runs everything. You see what I'm saying? The H, you fill it in, I see. The head, somebody in charge, if you know what I mean. So too much uncertainty too fast can short circuit the nervous system. Anybody scared of clowns? Too much uncertainty too fast can short circuit the nervous system. Everybody experienced that. Y'all don't act like y'all don't know what to start talking about. I bet to this day, half of y'all are adults. But if I go in a restroom, public restroom, with half of y'all, I turn out the lights and I say Candyman 5 times, it's gonna be a problem. Cause the ego still fears uncertainty. And I know some of y'all out there saying, that's all we're gonna have to fight, man. You say Candyman 5 times in the bathroom. But that's just one of them things. I'm just something that all of us are kind of familiar with. But yeah. So too much uncertainty can short circuit the nervous system. The human nervous system must be incrementally conditioned to deal with varying levels of uncertainty. A good way to condition, your nervous system to deal with like things of that nature. Comedy, man. Cultivate a sense of humor. Laugh sometimes. Now, I'm not telling you to laugh at inappropriate things, but sometimes you have to cultivate your sense of humor to kind of like offset the shock of certain things or whatever case may be. So yeah. Um, so um, in TM, and yeah, if you scare somebody, they can't have a heart attack. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Uncertainty it has an effect on the nervous system or what have you. Even like I was talking about, eating a bag of chips and the electrical impulses coming out of your nervous system or whatever case may be. We're electrical beings. Your heart emits an electromagnetic field. You have a nervous system, which is basically the circuitry or the wiring of your body and everything like that. Well, you have a few different types of nervous systems in your body. Certain organs have their own nervous system or whatever case may be, but you get what I'm saying. So, let's see. In TM, you have ideas of transforming, nullifying, and controlling energy, applying negative performance contracts, i.e., to restrict possibilities, even destroying structural um, attachments. So all of that stuff applies or whatever, and that's just fancy language. You know, it's a universal language for something that we can apply practically. TM also deals with uncertainty from the perspective of imposing an uncertain method on someone, right? If you if you know how to box and the other guy don't know how to box, you just impose something. You've imposed an unknown method on this person. This person will be making mistakes and not even understand that they're making mistakes. In what you got going on or whatever case may be, they'll be circling towards your strong hand and all kind of other common mistakes or whatever case may be, or just different things of that nature, and they won't understand it because they don't understand the system of how things are set up. So that's imposing an uncertain method on someone as well. Let me see here. Let's see here. Yeah, and that could mean the difference between playing a local high school team or playing the Harlem Globetrotters. That could be how that feels. The difference between playing a local high school team and playing the Harlem Globetrotters, when somebody imposes a method on you that you're not familiar with. You see what I'm saying? You're like a fish out of water. So that's let's see. The 17th law of power is just some examples of how we contrast that with some of the ideas out of True Master and some of the ways that that law of power can actually be used with some of the material out of True Master. Keeping others in suspended terror, cultivate an air of unpredictability. We're not necessarily trying to terrorize nobody or nothing like what we talking about in this, but it's there is a value in uncertainty and sometimes being able to operate in uncertainty and everything like else, the element of surprise and all that, all contextual and all circumstantial, depending on what you're doing, of course. But there are values and uses to it. So that's your 17th law of power, man. So we just breezing through these laws real quick. We're gonna keep it pumping. Appreciate y'all for checking me out. Like and subscribe, man. Peace to the true and living.